Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If you haven't, then I'm Gemma. I talk about books, and today I'm doing the spooky Halloween tag. So I first saw this video on Pax Panic channel, and it was created by Books of Blood. Both I will link below, and there are around 30 questions, I think, all about Halloween and spooky things. So I'm going to get started. Don't forget to let me know some of your answers in the comments, and please, if you like this video, then just click on the thumbs up, like, and don't forget to subscribe. So question 1 is favourite horror or Halloween themed song, and it's got to be the Monster Mash. Question 2, name something you wouldn't want to run into in a dark forest or in an abandoned building. To be honest, it's highly unlikely that you would find me in either of those places, but if you did, then I wouldn't want to see another person because I'd be suspicious as to why they were there. They'd probably wonder why I was there, but I'd be wondering what they were up to. Question 3, have you ever played with a Ouija board? No. Question 4, favourite horror monster or villain? Monster, probably Dracula. In terms of villain, either Annie Wilkes or Norman Bates. Question 5, the creepiest thing that's ever happened while you were alone? Not very much creepy stuff has happened to me, so I don't really have an answer. Question 6, if you were dared to spend the night in a haunted house, would you do it? I would absolutely love to stay in like a haunted castle or a hotel, something like that. Not because of the whole ghost hunting thing, but because the buildings that are usually described as haunted are just old and they're full of history and character, and that interests me. And I'd love to know the stories behind them that make people think that they're haunted. Question 7, are you superstitious? No. Question 8, do you ever see figures in your peripheral vision? Sometimes, but that's just because I've got really bad eyesight, and sometimes I don't even see the things or people that are there, so yeah. Question 9, do you prefer gore or thrillers? In terms of books, if it's like a crime novel, then it can be as gory and brutal and bloody as anything. Horror, I don't mind some blood and gore, but I'm not into body horror, so it depends on what the gore consists of. In terms of films, I am a wimp, so I don't want anything too disgusting, so I would probably have to go for thrillers. Question 10, do you believe in multiple dimensions or worlds? No. Question 11, have you ever made a potion of any sort? No. Question 12, do you get scared easily? Not quite as much as I used to. I used to be a real scaredy cat as a kid. I had a very, very vivid imagination. I was prone to quite horrific nightmares and night terrors, and as an adult, not quite so much. So, and particularly books, they don't tend to scare me that much. Question 13, have you ever played Bloody Mary? No. Question 14, do you believe in demons or the devil? I am not religious, and I don't think that you can believe in one and not the other. So, no. Question 15, you're home alone, but you hear footsteps in your house. What do you do? Probably nothing. I live in a 1950s terraced house. They are not soundproofed. They generally creak and groan and make all sorts of noises by themselves anyway. But if you're hearing something like footsteps or even voices, it's probably your next door neighbours, and there's very little you can do about hearing them through the walls. Question 16, if you got trapped in one scary movie, which would you choose? I don't really mind as long as I get to survive until the end. Question 17, if you could only wear one Halloween costume for the rest of your life, what would you be? I only ever dressed as a witch for Halloween when I was a kid. So I used to paint my face green, pick up the cat and walk around the house. I remember making a cape out of an old black bin liner, and that was basically my costume. Question 18. Would you ever go to a graveyard at night? Not intentionally. We have a churchyard at the end of the road that I live on, and it is as creepy as hell at night. They have security lights that come on when you walk through, but then they turn off as you go round, and it creates all sorts of creepy shadows and shapes in the dark, and I hate it. Question 19. In a zombie apocalypse, what is your weapon of choice? Probably something that I could use from a distance. I'm not really one for close contact combat, so if you've got like a rocket launcher or something, that would probably work. Question 20. Would you rather go to a Halloween party or go trick-or-treating? Well, I'm an adult, so probably a party, but I also don't really like parties, so as long as I can take a book and there's going to be a drink and snacks, I'll be happy to sit in a corner. Question 21. You are in a horror movie. Are you the final girl, the first to die, the comic relief, the skeptic, the smart one, or the killer? Who are we kidding? I'm the first to die. Question 22. Do you have to watch something happy after watching a horror movie so that you can go to sleep? I used to do this exact thing. I have also been known to watch horror films in the middle of the day so that I can then just carry on with my life afterwards. I am not a big fan of horror films. I haven't actually watched a horror film in a really long time. So yeah, I probably would still have to watch something happy, or at least watch the film earlier so that I could go off and do something else afterwards. Question 23. Whilst watching horror movies, are you the person who yells at the character, the person with their eyes covered the whole time, or the person who falls asleep? I'm probably a mix of the first two. I do tend to yell at the characters for doing something really stupid, like running upstairs. But then when the scary thing happens, I will probably be hiding behind a cushion or a blanket. Question 24. Are you the one who gets scared or the one who does the scaring? I do not like practical jokes or any of that sort of thing, so I would not be doing the scaring. Question 25. Favourite scary book? There are way too many to pick to put into a tag video. Question 26. How old were you when you saw your first horror movie? I don't remember. My mum and dad were both pretty strict on that sort of thing. I had a set bedtime right up until I was about 16 years old, and I was not allowed to watch certain TV shows and films that came on telly. In terms of films, my mum and dad actually would watch them first to determine whether or not they thought it was suitable for me. I remember watching things when I was really young and being quite terrified of them. The scene in The Little Mermaid where Ursula gets speared at the end freaked me out. Every time I watched the film after that, I used to have to fast forward through that bit so I didn't see it. There was also a film called The Watcher in the Woods with Betty Davis, and for a while that was the scariest thing I'd ever seen, and I still don't like mirrors because of it. As for an actual genuine horror film, I don't know, but I would definitely say that I was probably a teenager. Question 27. What was your first Halloween costume? As I said, I think it was a witch. My mum and dad are not into Halloween. They don't like the costumes, the trick-or-treating, the decorations, any of that stuff. So I was never really fully allowed to kind of get into it. But I do remember several years in a row dressing up as a witch, picking up our poor black cat and just running around the house with a broomstick. I had a broomstick. Question 28. What are you going to be for Halloween this year? Question 29. If you could have a spooky Halloween pet, black cat, owl, bat, rat, wolf, what would you pick? Cat. Absolutely my go-to animal will always be a cat. I've had a black cat in the past. I love them. They are also the most difficult for animal shelters to rehome because of superstitious people. So I would be just adopting all of the black cats. So that is the end of that tag. Thank you for watching. I will be back with another video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things, press all the buttons, and I will see you again soon. Bye.